Hey everyone, off the mic Sports Network here. In the aftermath of Ohio State winning the national championship over Notre Dame, um, huge deal. Ohio State wins it. They were like, I've already sung the praises of Ryan Day, but the biggest thing that I've seen in the aftermath of this game is Michigan fans and a lot of people saying, "Man, haha, you still didn't beat Michigan. It doesn't matter." And I know a lot of people in Ohio are still mad. Hey, they've lost four straight to Michigan. This senior class is going to exit Ohio State without beating um, is going to leave Ohio State without beating Michigan in the game, and so that means something because believe me, I know people in this rivalry who've played in this rivalry, and they've been devastated when they haven't won that game. It's all like a lot of what goes on in that state is about beating the team up north. So I understand why the sentiment's there, but also Michigan, you lost 5 or 6 games this year. You weren't good. You couldn't throw a forward pass. Congratulations, you won a game in the shoe. Okay, you've won 4 in a row. Ohio State won the national title and was able to overcome that, and I think that needs to be commended. Like this whole narrative that we just shouldn't give Ryan Day credit because this is what he was expected to do. Look, it's hard to come back from a rivalry loss like that, and they were able to recalibrate and do that. And then the biggest thing that I could say, because first of all, I said this before and I'll say this again. Ohio State, the final AP poll came out, the top 10. Here are Ohio State's wins that Ohio State had inside the top 10. Ohio State obviously finished number 1. Notre Dame number 2, they beat them in the national championship game. Oregon number 3, they beat them and clobbered them in the Rose Bowl. Texas number 4, they beat them in the Cotton Bowl in this run. Number 5, Penn State, they beat them on Penn State's field by 7 points early on in the season in a defining game. Then you go all the way down to number 9, Tennessee. They beat them with half of Tennessee's fans in the shoe. So, and they clobbered them. They were up 21-0. That game was over in the first quarter. And then they clobbered Indiana for their first loss. Indiana's number 10. So they beat 6 of the top 10 teams in all of college football in this final poll. 6 of the top 10. 6 of the top 10. And all of them were by at least a touchdown or more. And 5 out of the 6 were by double digits. That is a dominant run to the championship. And people say, well, what about Michigan? Guys, every team is allowed to have a bad game. Yes, it happened to it be in the biggest rivalry. And I overreacted a little bit too. I'll take it on the chin. I wanted Ryan Day fired. He was able to recalibrate this team to the point of, hey, we're a national champion. I'm one of the great Ohio State, and I'm a legend at this university now. But here's the thing that I need to say to those people, the Michigan people who are gloating about, hey, we beat you, we beat you, we've got one up on you again, and all these Ohio State fans are still butthurt about the fact that they won the national title, but they didn't beat Michigan. Here's what I'll say: I don't think Ohio State wins this national championship without that loss. I'm serious. I do not think Ohio State wins the national championship this year if they don't lose that game to Michigan. If they go into this thing and they have a bye, seeing the way that this thing shook out with, a momentum and then being able to recalibrate, find their momentum, have everybody doubting them. I think that was truly a rallying cry for this team in the 3 weeks that they had off after that Michigan game, not playing the Big Ten championship game. That helped this team. That helped this team survive, advance. Yes, it sucks that they didn't win the game, okay? That it sucks that they didn't beat the team up north. But I, honest to God, truly believe this, especially with the way that they dominated everybody. Like I said, 4 of those teams that I mentioned were in the playoff. They beat 4 of the top 10 teams in a span of a month to win a national title. That shows you how great they are. Yes, they had a bad Saturday against their rival, but the week before that, they clobbered Indiana for one of their 2 losses of the entire season. This is one of the greatest teams that has ever been assembled. Like, this is one of the great runs in college football history. It really is. If you think about what the Ohio State Buckeyes were able to accomplish this in the course of the season. And none of that is possible for them to even go on this incredible run if they don't get checked and they get clip there at the end of the season. It really turned things around for this thing. And I don't know where they would have been had they won that game. And that's insane to even think about because they were kind of coasting and it's like, hey, to get humbled like that, it really depends on how you're able to persevere from that. And they rallied together and they were able to go on this incredible run, beating 4 of the top 10 teams in America to add on to the other 2 that they already had beaten over the course of the season. Like yes, they had 2 losses and they lost to their rival. But I'm not as hung up on that anymore, seeing what came out of that and the fact that this led to a national championship, which, not a lot of Ohio State coaches are able to say, hey, I, along with Woody Hayes, won a national championship. Like, Woody Hayes is obviously the standard at Ohio State. Like, they call it the Woody, the building there, the football building. They call it the Woody. Like, that's the standard. So if you're mentioned in that echelon, you're immortalized there at Ohio State. So Ryan Day, whether you love him or you hate him, he accomplished, yes, he had advantages to him, but still, it takes a really good coach to come back from that type of a loss and be able to come out on the other side better. So I commend Ohio State. I said this last night when I recorded that video, but again, I will say it again. I will say it until I'm blue in the face. Ohio State, the 2024 Ohio State National Championship does not happen if they beat Michigan. Them losing to Michigan was the best thing that could have ever happened to them. And it recalibrated them and it really put them in the right framework to say, hey, anybody can get clipped. We've got to be ready for whatever. For God's sake, we lost a game. And yeah, it sucks that the legacy of this team is, yeah, you won a national title, but you didn't beat the team up north. Still, I think that was a big reason why they won this thing, which is something I didn't think I would be uttering at the start of this season. That A, Ohio State would have lost that game, and then B, they would have won the national title, and C, I firmly believe that it was because of that loss that really set them on this path to the great run that they had. So anyway, I will talk to you guys real soon. A lot more coming here on the channel throughout the week. NFL content as well. We'll have a ton. Thanks to everybody for getting to 300 subscribers. We're approaching that, and who knows, maybe at the time of this recording or at the time you are viewing this, we will be surpassing 300. But I appreciate all the love and support. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.